Hey guys, Grant here. I want to tell you all about my friends at Black Bear Inn and Suites of Gatlinburg who are making it possible to bring this episode to you. As you guys know, I grew up in East Tennessee, and there are two things that all East Tennesseans have in common. We all love the Vols, and we all love the Smoky Mountains. Since I've moved to Nashville, I've been unable to get my Smoky Mountain fix in, but thankfully, our friends at Black Bear Inn and Suites of downtown Gatlinburg have me covered. They are conveniently located at 1100 Parkway and are within walking distance of all the major attractions and best food that downtown Gatlinburg has to offer. To book your Smoky Mountain getaway today, visit blackbeargatlinburg.com or call 865 436 5656 or toll free at 1 800 933 0777. Welcome into this episode of the Volin' Out podcast. I am Grant Williams, and joining me just as he does each and every time here on the program, I have got Jordan Mountcastle with me. Jordan, I'd ask you how you're doing, but I think Dalton Connect is still scoring on those fine folks from the Plains.
Man, I swear, I think I just heard him rip another 50-footer.
You didn't hear him rip that. You know what you heard? Burt screaming,
money.
That's exactly what you heard right there, man. Well, dude, we have a lot to dive into today on this one. I mean, man, I ain't even going to go through the rundown. We just jumping straight into this one today.
My man.
Tennessee picked up a massive win against the Auburn Tigers at the Food City Center on Wednesday night. The number 4 Volunteers got the dub over the number 11 Tigers, 92-84. Dalton Connect shines once again with 39 points in this game. Josiah Jordan James becomes the second ever Vol to have 100 blocks and 150 steals in their career. Santiago Vescovi now becomes the second ever Vol to have 200 career steals. Rick Barnes picks up his 197th win at Tennessee. Now, here are the two that stand out the most to me, man. Tennessee has now won 80 straight games at home when leading at the half. This is the longest streak in Division I college basketball.
Man, that's a mighty impressive streak, buddy.
That's all because of our guy, Richard Dale Barnes, right there, man. I mean, he's doing something amazing. And you think about this, man, you only play, 17 games, 18 games at home a year?
Right.
This is going way, way back. This is going back probably 5-6 years, honestly.
Yeah, going back to the Admiral team.
Dude, it really is. And it may even be going back further than that. Well, no, because Admiral Schofield was the first year. But you see what I'm saying on that.
Right.
It's going on, and it's been sticking around for a while. Now, also, Tennessee now holds the longest win streak against AP top 25 teams in SEC history with 12 wins.
Man, they just like DJ Khaled, brother. All we do is win.
Dude.
No matter what.
Winning. That's all Tennessee does. Now, that's going to come back and bite us in the ass. Now, I just said that here on the air, but it is what it is. Man, great game for everybody involved, for the Volunteers last night. Dalton Connect, though, man, he's the Tiger King. Move over, Joe Exotic. Dalton Connect is the Tiger King. With 12:01 remaining in the game, Dalton had 14 points. He then proceeded to outscore Auburn over the last 12 minutes of the game, 25-21.
Man, dude, I'll tell you this. Father's Day's coming. It's just around the corner. Auburn better remember that, man.
Yeah, if they don't, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them.
We'll make sure they do.
Best player in America, and it's not even close. Because guess what? Dalton Connect ended his night with 39, his fourth 35-plus game of the season. Second most in Tennessee history. He also has had 2 39-point games this year. The one against Auburn on Wednesday night at the Food City Center, and then also that one on a snow day against the Florida Gators at the Food City Center as well.
Dude, he's sick with it, man. He is sick with it.
Yeah.
What do you do to stop this man short of stabbing him?
But you can't. I mean, the only way that you can stop this man is by hoping he don't show up. However you can get there, because that's the only way you can. He's also had 6 30-plus point games this season. Now, man, I'm going to stop here for a second. I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Is he the greatest basketball player of all time to ever step foot on Tennessee's campus?
Buddy, I can say this with full-blown confidence. He's the best basketball player I'm old enough to remember.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to say this. Tennessee was not a good basketball program for the majority of the time before we were old enough to remember.
Yeah, I mean
This
that's just the
guy
way
is
it
the
is.
greatest player he's ever had. It sucks he's a 1-year rental and he doesn't meet the criteria for a jersey retirement. Change the damn rules. Announce it on senior day at halftime or before the game. No Vol will ever wear number 3 again because he deserves it. And also, here's another thing too. I wish college basketball would adopt the NIL jerseys like college football has. Because you know how many number 3s we'd be seeing with that beautiful Vol script on the front of it around the Food City Center.
Oh, dude, it'd be Connect City,
They would be sold out 2 minutes after going online.
no doubt.
Fanatics, listen to us. Get us the jersey. We all are dying for it, man. That's what we want right here in Ball Nation.
And
Um,
since we come up with that, hit up Falling Out for with a kickback.
yeah, or just sponsor the show. That's all we want.
Yeah, hey, we take that too. We're not asking for much here.
Yeah, Fanatics, you gotta throw the bones to the people who are helping you out right here since we're giving you a fantastic business idea.
Primo idea.
Hell yeah, we are, man. Looking at these stats, man, a couple things jump out to me right here. Tennessee shot 50.9% from the field in this game. Auburn shot damn near 46% from the field in this game.
Man, just that blows my mind, buddy. Just like both teams were hot. And
They were defense was not optional in this game. I think both teams were just that good.
that's what I was going to say. I mean, you see it all the time, like in even in the college football playoffs. For an example, both teams are so good defensively, are so good offensively that even if they've got a above average defense, it looks pedestrian because they execute at such a high level on offense. And I think that's what we got Saturday night out of Tennessee and Auburn.
Yeah, well, you absolutely did. It was one of the best games I have ever been in attendance at the Food City Center. I've been going over there for 25 years now. Man, the top 5 performance I have ever seen a Tennessee team put on, but the single-handedly greatest performance I've ever seen by one player. And it all came by Dalton Connect, helping Tennessee get to that 51% from the field. Tennessee from 3, 52.9%. So let's just call it 53%. Auburn, 41%. Man,
There just wasn't much missing going on Saturday night, bud.
there wasn't, and Tennessee had a good defensive game plan, man. Like, it's
They
not
did.
like Tennessee showed up and just played piss poor defense. Man, I just feel so confident in this team because they've shown they can win any which way they can. But
Yeah.
moving on to the free throw stats, neither was really that great. 77.1% for the Vols, 75% for the Tigers. Rebounds, Tennessee won that battle by 7, 37 to 30. Assist, second game of the year that Tennessee has lost the assist battle but still won. Kind of crazy to me on that right there. Auburn had the 7 advantage on that, 20 to 13. Steals, Auburn had the advantage on that, 10 to 6. Blocks, Tennessee advantage, 5 to 3. Turnovers, 14 for Tennessee, 16 for the Tigers. Now, I'm going to stop you right here.
Okay.
And we need to call these 3 men out by name because that is way too many fouls for a college basketball game. 46 were called in total, 25 on Auburn, 21 on Tennessee. I am calling you out by name. Once again, is what I'm saying right here. Don Daly, Byron Jarrett, and Steven Anderson. What the
Well,
hell was going on?
you know what? They all suck, but I'm just going to say this: it's not a coincidence that one dude's name, his initials are BJ.
Right, right. I mean, that's one way to look at it right there, man. I mean, it was just horrible. There was an egregious amount of fouls called. Like Auburn got in the bonus with like 14 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah,
Tennessee
and
was in the bonus with like 12 minutes left.
yeah, they weren't far behind at all. I mean, there were 63 foul shots. 63 foul
That is
shots
way too
taken.
many. Like
Yes.
I went to the game with my dad and I looked over at him the second Auburn got in the bonus, and I was like, buckle up. We're going to be here for about the next 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was that ended up being, especially in the last 5 to 6 minutes of the game that time forgot, dude. It went on forever, it seemed like.
Hey, but I would still be sitting over there at the Food City Center 2 days later if we got the same result we got.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I would gladly take that. Tennessee's largest lead of the game was 9, where Auburn's was 8.
I want to throw this at you there, looking at some of those stats like the assists and the fast break points and stuff like that. Auburn kind of outplayed Tennessee in a couple of the hustle aspects. I don't want, and I'm not saying they blew them out of the water, because I mean you can look right there and tell that they didn't. But fast break points, points in the paint, they did just enough to be better than Tennessee in those areas.
I agree, man. I mean, I really thought Tennessee was going to lose this game at one point, and then Connect Sanity just happened. I mean, let's
Yes.
be realistic. Let's call it what it is right there. Diving into the box score for the game, Jonas Adu in 28 minutes fouled out of the game. Horrible fouls were called on Jonas Adu. He was taken out of the game early and often, and you really couldn't get him going in this one. He still had 14 points, 7 boards, 1 block. I mean, what can you say about the man? 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line for his total of 14.
He had a good night, man. I mean, just there was at least 2 foul calls that they had that were called on him that I was just like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, some of them were just god awful where he goes straight up,
Yeah.
hands are straight up, and they still call the foul. Some of them were the right call. I'm not going to argue with the ones all of them, because it's basketball.
I think one that you said was the right call is one that I'm going to disagree with you on, just because he was straight up, and it was the same play that the guy took 5 minutes afterwards to blow the whistle. He waited to see if it was going to drop, and then he blew the whistle. Like, don't
Well,
do that.
so here's my thing on that. If you're going to be an official, be consistent. And my biggest thing is I can't stand a late whistle. For
Right.
this reason and this reason only. You call the damn foul the second it happens. And if you're not going to blow the whistle and wait and see if the shot goes in or not, it's a non-call. That's what it turns out to be. There is nothing that can make it to where you say, hey, this happened right here 3 seconds ago. He's going to get the shot up. Let me wait and see if it goes in and bounces out. And if it
Right.
bounces out, I'm going to keep my whistle out of my pocket. But if it goes in, my whistle stays in my pocket. It's bullshit.
Right.
That's not how basketball is played.
It's sort of like, we have it, we see it all the time during Tennessee football games. It's like letting Tennessee get the snap off and then say, nope, 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 hold up, hold up, hold up. We got to go back and look at this play 2 plays ago. It don't
No,
work like that.
that's not
You
how
know,
sports are. And horrible officiating drives me crazy. I mean, I just can't even tolerate it.
and I'm going to follow it up with saying this too. The SEC has the best athletes in the country, worst officiating crews in the country to go with it.
Well, so the officials for basketball are shared amongst all the power conferences. So any
Really?
of those guys can call a Big 12 game, Big 10 game, ACC, Pac 12, so on and so on. Where football, they share it. Football officials are the worst. I think that college basketball does have an officiating problem, and I don't know how you're going to fix that.
Right. Yeah, there's not an easy way to do it. And then to follow those 2 points up with this, we've said it before, we'll continue to say it. Don't matter if you're going to be good, don't matter if you're going to be bad, just be consistent with how you call the game.
Well, exactly. And, man, it drives me crazy. But let's talk about a guy who's consistent, man. Let's go from the inconsistent to the consistent. Dalton Connect in 33 minutes, 12 of 21 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3, 10 of 12 from the line, 2 boards, 3 steals, 1 turnover, 3 fouls, 39 points.
God bless, dude. You can count on that man like the sun coming up tomorrow.
You really can. Like, man, the greatest player to ever wear a Tennessee jersey. It's not close. Retire the damn number, like I said earlier, and just move the hell on with it, because I think there's going to be a lot of Tennessee fans who get into the NBA next year because of him.
Yeah. I will tell you right now, I will 150% be one of them.
Well, hell, I'm already in all on it, but I'll be watching even more now. And whatever team he goes to, they're gonna take up some space in my closet, man, with a
Right?
Dalton Connect jersey, and I will proudly wear it anywhere I go. Unless I'm in Memphis, I won't wear anything other than Grizzlies gear in Memphis. But
Yeah, get carjacked. Just
yeah, you
kidding.
might.
Just kidding.
Hey, it might happen out there. You never know. But Dalton Connect, we love you. Thank you for coming to Tennessee. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, glad to
Next
have
guy,
that kid.
speaking on more consistency, Zakai Ziegler, 38 minutes, way too many minutes. I mean, way too many minutes. 3 of 9 from the floor, though. Not a great night on that. All 3 of his shots were threes, though. 8 of 12 from the line. Thank you for hitting free throws, Zakai. Thank
Ha-
you for making it close like that.
Hashtag HYFT.
Yeah, Zakai did his. I mean, still not ideal. Like you're shooting like what is that 66% because it's what
8 for 12. Let's see. That okay. Well, so, yeah, yeah. You're about right. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's still not really that good, but the number looks better, I guess, than what it is.
At least
But
he got to the
Zakai,
line.
yeah, he did, and that was something we didn't see in the previous game. So it's good to see that again. But Zakai had 4 boards in this game, 9 assists, 1 steal, 4 turnovers, 17 points. Now, I do have one question for you on this, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Zakai came off of that ACL injury on February 28th, 2023. This game was played on February 28th, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly 1 year to the day. Do you think that those 4 turnovers in this game reflected on what the date was and how that affected him? I think it may have had something to do with that because early he was not playing smart. He was just playing hard.
Right.
And I think that may have something to do with it, man. Like I said, I don't know anything on this. I'm just speculating, but just my personal opinion.
I would say you're in the ballpark with it. We kind of discussed it during the game. Like you say, he was playing hard, but he wasn't playing smart. And I
Mhm.
think he's wanted to come out and say, you know what, this happened exactly 1 year ago to the day. I want to come out and I want to show everybody that I'm back and I'm better than I was last year.
No, and he sure as hell is.
And he is. There's no questions asked. He the one thing I would say to him as far as that goes, if that was his mentality, was man, you ain't got a thing to prove to nobody. You've done it all year.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong on that. Going from consistency to inconsistency, Santiago Vescovi and Josiah Jordan James, both the guys tallied 2 points. There's nothing even worth talking about on the stat line for those two. Moving on to the bench guys that I am going to talk about today. Tobey Awaka, 23 minutes, 3 of 3 from the floor, 3 of 5 from the line, 5 boards, 9 points.
Man, I'm starting to love Tobey's game more and more and more every time he gets on the court. Since this like last little 5 game stretch right here, since the start of it, the boy has played. I'm not even calling him a boy. That man has played grown man basketball,
Yeah, I was going to say
and
he's a grown ass man.
and it seems like he's come so far in so short of a time span. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like it just clicked for him.
Well, I've been so critical of him, as have you, but I
Yeah,
feel like I've been extremely critical of the kid, probably to a fault at some point earlier on in the season. I'm done with it. I'm not giving him hell anymore. Rick, play him more with Jonas. I want to see the Twin Tower approach moving forward this season because that is Tennessee's best basketball is played with those two on the floor at the same time. It's not even close anymore. And also, something that doesn't show up in the box score right here. Tobey did one hell of a job on Janai Broom with Auburn.
oh, he sure did, dude. He bodied him up and was not letting him get anything easy.
Yeah, like just great, great, great game from Tobey. And like I said, I'm not giving you hell anymore, Tobey. I am sorry for what I've said in the past.
We
Please
salute you,
forgive me.
sir.
Please forgive me, Tobey. That's all I'm going to say
Yes.
right there. One other bench guy I am going to talk about today, Jordan Gainey, 21 points, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, 4 of 4 from the line, 3 boards, 7 points.
Pedestrian compared to
Yeah,
what he
like
has been doing, but that's good. That's decent production point wise.
it is, but I still want to see more from the kid. Like Tennessee, so with how Tennessee's played all year long, you have 3 guys that step up, and there is always 2 guys who fall off the face of the earth in this game.
Mhm.
And this game in particular, you had 3 guys fall off the face of the earth. Gainey got you 7 points, but compared to what he can do, not great.
Yeah, yeah. What he can do and what he has been doing. I mean, 10, 10 to 15 points there for a game for about 3 or 4 games. He was doing great. And now he's just kind of like, well, I did my thing, guys. Thanks. It was fun. been real.
Yeah,
It's been fun. Not been real fun.
hell, I hope he ain't saying that. We need him in March, and we need him
Right?
this month, man. And we are in March. I mean, think about it that way. So it's time for Jordan Gainey to get it rolling. I mean, you need the kid right there. But like I
Yes.
said, once again, great night for Tennessee. 51% from the floor, 53% from three, 71.1% from the line. There is one guy I want to speak on who plays for the Tigers in this one today, Jordan. Janai Broome. 33 minutes, 9 of 16 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three, 3 of 7 from the line, 9 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 23 points. Good God.
Stat sheet stuffer, buddy.
Dude,
Just done it all.
if there is one player in the SEC that I could pick to be on Tennessee's team this year, it's Janai Broome. Could you
Yeah.
imagine him and Jonas playing together?
Oh, dude, that's almost an embarrassment of riches, sir.
Oh, it would be.
And there
It's
wouldn't be
not even almost.
right, and there wouldn't be a damn thing to be embarrassed about. Not a
No,
damn
hell
thing.
no. Tennessee fans would be all about that, man. It'd be a hell of a lot of fun. Auburn ended up shooting in this game almost 46% from the floor, 41% from three, 75% from the free throw line. Your leaders in this game.
I want to say one thing real quick though. How does Broome not have a single foul called on him the entire game? And there was 46 fouls called. You gonna tell
Yeah,
me what?
that
Not one time? Not one time.
no. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me, man. I mean, and honestly, looking at this graphic we've got right here on the screen, that's the only statistical category he didn't lead the Tigers in. I mean,
Right?
the guy led them in points, rebounds, and assists. Now for
Man.
Tennessee, it's more balanced. It's the three you're used to seeing on this graphic: Dalton for points, Jonas for rebounds, Zakai for assist.
Yeah. Those are the three as a Vol fan you're used to seeing up there.
Yeah, it's you're used to seeing those guys. It's fun seeing them up there, and man, Tennessee is blessed to have those guys. So, Jordan, I want to hear from Rick Barnes and see what he had to say after this game. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me, brother. Let's do it.
We've seen a lot of special things from Dalton this year. Can you kind of just put the second half, that last 12 minutes, I guess, into perspective?
Well, first of all, it was a high-level game. I thought both teams played extremely hard, and nothing easy came on either end. Both teams really impressed with all the players that played. Honestly, it's a high-level, hard-fought game. But at the end, obviously, Dalton, we were struggling to score, and that had a lot to do with what they were doing. And he was struggling at the free throw line, but he got it going, and we just said, hey, we're going to get it to him, and the other guys get ready to try to get him open, and he'll make the play, and then we got to rebound the ball. But still, with that said, guard him on the other end. We had to try to get some stops, and Janai Broome was awesome. I thought he was terrific tonight in terms of what he did, but that's a performance that Dalton did. I mean, what he did in the last, 12 minutes, I think. I mean, it's just one of the great performances that I've been able to see.
We'll go Mike, Ben, Ryan.
Yeah. Rick, when you're coaching that final 12 minutes offensively, what types of plays are you putting in? How are you coaching that? Or is it simply, here's what we're doing, but Dalton, do what you do?
Well, we have a set where we normally have, 2 guys up, 3 guys down below, and it's something that we know that we can go to. But I will tell you this, we changed a little bit. Instead of having him a chance to come off either side, we moved him over to one side and told both guys to go get him open, and really gave him 2/3 of the court to try to get open and get the ball. He did it, and then it's up to him. It's up to him to make the moves and the shots that he thinks he's got, and those other guys have to deliver, because you saw at the end they were working really hard to take him out, and he was trying to use that as a way to get Zakai open, and Zakai made a big 3 too, and I thought Santi's layup there when that tough shot he forced up there was a big play. But when they're and Dalton was trying to do that, he was trying to get Zakai going downhill, but I think Zakai was so locked in to trying to get him the ball, and but at the end we were just spacing out and trying to give him room to operate.
Rick, another game in which you win the rebounding battle. You strung together a couple of performances in that area. Are you starting to feel better about how your team's rebounding?
Again, they're a hard team to guard and run really good actions, and Bruce does a great job with them, and Janai Broom creates a lot of problems, and we didn't want to get too spread out, and he starts operating in there, and then we try to double, and he's such a great passer there, and oftentimes when you're doing that, you get yourself out of rebound position, but tonight for the most part, I thought we fought hard to get back in to try to come up with some balls. I think we gave up 1 or 2 on the free throw lockout, which we can't do, but we've harped on it enough all year and worked on it and keep talking about it, and we've got to continue to talk about it and see if we can stay consistent with it.
Talked about how y'all's offense is at its best when multiple guys are involved. It's not just Dalton, but how comforting is it to have him as a security blanket when shots aren't going for other guys?
Well, it is. I mean, there's nights when he hasn't had it and other guys have stepped up. And I like to think with our team that whether it's our inside play, where you look at the numbers that Jonas and Tobey gave us, I mean, that's a good night for those guys. And but when it bogs down, when you miss some free throws. First half we turned it over. Z turned it over 4 times in the first half, and it wasn't his fault. It was spacing. I mean, we weren't getting to the corners. We weren't getting in a position underneath the basket, and we shrunk the floor on them. And they're good with their hands, and so our spacing was not very good. But that's what you hope. You have a guy like that, and I've had a couple, not many, but there's not many of those guys that can do it at the way he did it tonight, and we've seen him do it. I mean, you guys have seen him do it in other games, but we honestly have some other guys on the team that if they get going like that, we think they can do it, but maybe not to that level because he can score at all 3 levels. I do think that, and they were running at the end. They ran 3 guys at it, and I might have done the same thing because you could tell when a guy gets heated up like that. And Bruce has been around a long time. We've all seen guys that can get that going maybe at a level like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, J.J. Redick did it. He torched us for 43 one night. And I'm telling you, you sit there and you feel helpless because of the shots he makes and just trying to guard him the best you can. But to get it going, it's hard to guard.
And that is what Rick Barnes had to say at the Food City Center on Wednesday night in the Volunteers' victory over the Auburn Tigers. So, Jordan, what takeaways do you have from what the head man of the Volunteers had to say?
One thing that really stuck out to me, of course, I think it stuck out to everybody, was he pretty much said it, man. Nothing came easy. That game was a straight-up boxing match. Knox County street fight. Frog Alley ball, if you will. If you're from Sevier County, you get the reference.
Yeah.
He talked about, basically how they just like, Dalton, do what you do, man. He had to, and they were right. They started running those high screens on each side of the court to get the man open. Dude, as soon as he got on the court, he was in range, man. Kid took the game over.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what I like on that, too, he kind of compared him to J.J. Redick in that right there, saying, well, he torched us for 43 at Texas that one time. And then also, man, I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to the post-game Rick Barnes show with Bob Kessling and Burt Bertelkamp. Well, they were talking, and they said, Rick, kind of just tell us what Dalton did right here. He said, I'm not one to compare players, he said, but there's only been one other guy I've ever coached who's done those type of things. And his name was Kevin Durant.
He's connects the connectula or whatever you want to call him, what we need to come up with a catchy nickname for the man.
Yeah, I'd love to call him White KD, but I don't think we can. So we need to come up with something a little bit better right there. Right. He's got the White Mamba as his name on the team. We're gonna have to think of something, man. I wish he was number 4, and then we could just say Connect 4 and move the hell on.
Right. One thing though about Dalton, you and I were texting this yesterday, whatever, during the day and whatnot. He is, let's say, realistically, Tennessee makes a Final Four run, makes it in the national championship. He's only, what was it we decided, like 246 out of being the all-time single-season scoring leader for the Vols?
Yeah, it's something like that right there. He would need to average, if Tennessee makes it to the championship game, it's like 21 points per game, if that even.
Yeah, it's 21 per game, technically 20 and a half, but he can't score half a point. them playing the fewest amount of games that they could play, which they're guaranteed at least two more after the regular season. So that's 5. He'd have to score 50 and a half a game, which God bless, dude.
He
I know
can.
this sounds wild. He could do it. Like, he's just
if he
that
wanted
good.
to score 50, he could.
He
That's what's so
could.
crazy about this kid and what makes him so special. But man, I also want to hear from the former head man of the Volunteers, now the head man on the Plains, Bruce Pearl. How do you feel about that?
Let's hear what Brucey Poo's got to say.
You mentioned connectability to go one-on-one. When a guy like that is as hot as he is the best course of action to let him go one-on-one and just try to make it tough, or send a double like you did a few times?
I mean, we sent a double a couple times. We got a turnover. We sent a double, and one time we passed out of it and they got a dunk, I think that felt like we had guys that could guard him. And when Tennessee wins, they typically win when everybody contributes, right? And tonight he sort of dispelled that.
Gentlemen, right back.
Coach, if you had to pick now, would you say Dalton Knecht is SEC Player of the Year?
What I've always done and what I've always believed in is I've voted for the best player on the best team. So if Dalton Knecht wins the league, Tennessee wins the league, he'll get my vote for sure. If Alabama won the league, I'm going to vote for Mark Sears. I typically just have always voted for the best player on the best team.
And that is what Bruce Pearl had to say after the game. So, one takeaway I take from this man, and I think it's complete and total bullshit. You vote for the best player, not the best player on the best team. You vote for the true best player. Now, I still like Tennessee's chances to outright win the SEC. I think it'll probably happen. But there is no reason that Marcus Sears at Alabama should win SEC Player of the Year over Dalton Knecht.
And just think about this. Should that scenario play out where Alabama wins the conference, it comes down to one vote. Right there's your one vote.
Yeah, and it'd be ridiculous. I mean, I think there's enough coaches in the conference who have enough sense not to vote Mark Sears in just because he's the best player on the best team. But it makes you also wonder, how many coaches also think that way, man?
I would say there's quite a few of them that would think that way, to be honest with you, because it's just how much thought do they really put into voting for those awards? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if Dalton Knecht torches you for 39, vote him SEC Player of the Year. That's all I'm going to say right there. But Jordan, one thing on this, man, I think it's time for Player of the Game. And is there even any question who is Player of the Game today? Because I don't think so.
There's not. And coincidentally, he ties into a point I wanted to make about Bruce. All I heard during that press conference was Dalton Knecht is my daddy.
He sure did right there. Dalton, you won Player of the Game today. Love you, Dalton. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Now, for the one that's always the most fun of the game, Jordan, it's a milk carton time.
It's milk carton time.
Let's hit it.
Surely not.
Josiah Jordan James, you have been chosen for the Violent Out milk carton.
Man, we're just going to nickname him and Santi the milk carton kids.
Yeah. Hell, I mean, man, they hide when you need them. So I'm hoping that's not the case. And here's going to be the last thing I'm going to say about Dalton, because this has turned into a Dalton Knecht love fest, and that's not what we want to do, but it's hard not to right now. If he goes cold in March, Tennessee's cooked. Unless Santiago Vescovi and Josiah Jordan James play out of their damn mind. And I'm not really sure if that is a possibility at this point.
Makes you wonder. We're just gonna have to poke and hope, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, man, let's run to break. Let's get a word from Three Kings of Cardboard. Jump right back in on this. Break down some SEC. Talk a little bit of Basevols too. So
yeah,
let's do it, man. And we'll be right back after this.
Sounds good to me. This next segment is brought to you by Three Kings of Cardboard, the go-to spot to upgrade your sports memorabilia collection. Check out their Facebook group and eBay at Three Kings of Cardboard. I have dealt with them personally and will not deal with anybody else. My favorite item from them is my Jalen Wright one of one Bowman U Superfractor that they have pulled me. Check out our friends at Three Kings of Cardboard today.
Welcome back into the program. So, Jordan, this has been one of the best weeks of SEC hoops I can remember in a long, long time.
Buddy, it was a fun one. There were some great games on this week, especially games that mattered, not just fun basketball to watch.
Well, a lot of games that can impact Tennessee's race to the SEC crown for the regular season. So, without further ado, man, let's jump right into the SEC. Let's figure out what the hell happened this week. So, SEC scores of interest in what I called the game of the year with you, Jordan, while we were texting the other night. Kentucky takes a trip down to Stark Vegas, wins by 2. Reed Shepherd hits the game winner. Reed Shepherd leads Kentucky in every single statistical category. 32 points, shot 11 of 14 from the floor, 5 boards, 7 assists with only 2 turnovers.
Dude, that kid was surgical. Surgical.
He's so good, dude. Like, it makes no sense how a freshman can be as good as he is.
Right. And you know, too, man, I'm going to say it right now. Kentucky gets that 4th seed. I'm saying it right now. I know we're going to talk about that next, but I'm saying it right now.
It's a possibility, man. It really is. But I think this next team we're about to talk about right here is going to have something to say about this. The Florida Gators hosted the Missouri Tigers, walked away with a dub on that one, 83-74. Man, that's a little bit close right there, but Mizzou has been in every single game they've been in this entire year.
Yeah, with the exception of a handful. I mean, they really have been. And that game too, man, they got a little help too, because I want to say Clayton, man, he fouled out with like 13 minutes to go in the game.
That sounds about right. I didn't get a chance to get my eyes on that one. I've got my eyes on all the other 3, just not that one right there.
Yeah, they were talking about it on SportsCenter, man. Like, dude, kid fouled out with 13 minutes to go in the game, and Florida basically just was clinging on to dear life.
Yeah, I mean, man, I think Missouri's going to eventually get one, but they are still 0-15 in conference. I mean, just
they better get one soon because it's about to be donezo.
Hey, man, at least they got legal weed in Missouri because I think they're going to need it to be able to watch the rest of this basketball up there because this team is god awful.
They are, man. They God love them. They play hard, but they suck.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it.
They're horrible, man. I mean, they gave Tennessee everything Tennessee could have ever wanted when Tennessee took that trip up to Como, but good Lord, man. Rough one right there. Now, a team that I think is still probably Tennessee's only loss left on the schedule for the regular season. The South Carolina Gamecocks traveled to College Station and walked away with a struggle win. 70-68.
Man, I'm telling you right now, dude, I think the wheels are I'm not going to say the wheels are coming off because they're not. I'm going to back that up, though. But I'm going to say I think Carolina may have peaked at the wrong time.
Well, hey, if so, Tuesday night's going to be a great one for the people who reside in the greatest state in America, also known as Tennessee.
That's right.
But in this game, man, I mean, Meechie Johnson for the Gamecocks, 22 points. Colin Murray-Boyles, 12 rebounds. Talon Cooper, 9 assists. That's the big 3 they've got right there, kind of like Tennessee has their big 3. Where A&M, I mean, Terrence Radford, man, great game for him, 19 points. Aaron Garcia, 12 boards. Dennis Rodman of college basketball. I mean, let's call him what he is right there. You can rebound better than anybody I have ever seen at the college level. Man, and then Wade Taylor, 4 assists.
All he needs is a wild hairdo and to marry himself, and he's good to go.
Now, wear a dress and go on Good Morning America or whatever it was Rodman did, man.
And save North Korea while he's at it.
How is that the guy who did it? I mean, I know that that's not what we talk about here, but good Lord, man. How is that the guy that's able to go to North Korea that's an American is beyond me.
Just because he's just as crazy as that guy is. Don't nuke us. Don't nuke us. Please don't. I'm just saying.
They may be coming for our houses after Kim Jong-un gets a hold of this, man.
We come in peace.
There we go. Peace. So last game of the night, man, what we're going to talk about right here, Alabama travels to Oxford, and this one was a little bit of a struggle for Alabama early on, down 13 early, rallied for the 15-point dub, 103-88. Good Lord, man.
Dude, they are an offensive juggernaut. Even when they're down 13 or 14, well, especially when they're only down 13 or 14, it's just like, man, they can shoot their way back into it. I think anything less than a 25-point lead, they're right there. It's still a ball game because they can shoot their way back into any basketball game, man.
I've never seen a team that can get as hot as Alabama does. Like, I don't think that any lead Tennessee can have on Saturday is safe, but we'll talk about all that with our good buddy Christian Skies from the Crimson Crossover here shortly, which is part of the Field of 68.
That's Mr. Sykes, sir.
Sykes. I need to
Sykes.
think about like Bring Me the Horizon, Ollie Sykes. How am I missing that, man?
Sykes.
So moving on to the SEC standings, I think that you kind of figured out who your top 6 teams are, if it's not already been decided. All 6 of them have a number next to their name. Tennessee and Alabama share first place right now, where Tennessee is currently controlling first place with the better overall record on the season and the head-to-head matchup. South Carolina controls second place right now, all by themselves, 11-14, 1 game behind first place right there. 23-5 on the season. The Florida Gators and Kentucky Wildcats and Auburn Tigers are all fighting for the 4th and final double bye in Nashville here next week. It's tightening up, man. It's crazy. All 3 of those teams are 10-5. All those teams are 2 games back in the SEC race. If one team has the edge over anybody right now, it's Auburn, just because of the regular season record. But man, it's going to be a lot of fun this last week of SEC hoops to see what happens.
I mean, that's a damn bottleneck right there, buddy.
Yeah, it's as close as I can ever remember it being. And what I see about this 2, man, is any of these 6 teams deserve a double bye.
Yeah, I mean, they've all got it together. Like I say, though, I keep riding that Kentucky team, man, just because I feel like they're starting to kind of get it together. I really do. Just they're dangerous. They're dangerous. But, you know, I've said the same about Florida, too. Will not surprise me, again, if either of those 2 end up, or both of them. South Carolina loses out. Then you got Florida and Kentucky right there.
Yeah. And, I mean,
and
it's going to be a
Auburn.
lot of fun. Yeah, you got Auburn right there, too. I mean, it's just crazy how close it is right now. I still think Tennessee wins the conference. That's not Grant going GBO, homer pick right here. Tennessee's the best team in the SEC. Tennessee proved it on Wednesday night at the Food City Center. Tennessee's proven it all year long. So There's that right there. Alabama's a good team, man. South Carolina's a good team. Florida's a really good team right now. They're getting hot at the right time. Kentucky's starting to figure it out. Now, I still think they're not a good team, but that is what it is. Auburn's a hell of a team. So there's no telling what's going to happen, man. It's going to be a lot of fun inside the 615 at Bridgestone Arena for the tournament coming up here soon.
Absolutely.
So that has been our look around the SEC, brought to you by our friends at 3 Kings of Cardboard. So, Jordan, man, there's been a little bit of stickball played since the last time we hit record on something. How about you talk about one of the games and I'll talk about the other one, man? How about you run off first?
All right, buddy. I'll take lead off. So let's see here today. 2 days ago, Wednesday, Vols beat High Point 7-4. Chris Stamos got the win. Moves to 2-0 on the season. Nate Snead got his first save of the year. Man, they won 7-4, 9 hits, no errors. Amick, dude, that kid, he can blister a baseball, buddy. Straight up. He went 2 for 4, had 2 hits, an RBI, and a homer. Kavaris tears, making everybody else cry tears. 3 for 3, 1 RBI, 1 homer, 1 base on ball, 1 double. Villanueva, 1 for 4, 2 hits. That doesn't sound right, but he was on base twice. So
hell yeah, we'll take it.
1 double and 3 RBIs. So hey, Peebles 2 for 3, 2 RBI, 1 double, 1 base on balls. Balls extended their win streak to 7, and they actually kicked off the first game of the Bowling Green series here, sir.
Yeah, they did.
Take that one.
Today is Friday, March 1st, 2024. So Tennessee did have a win over the Bowling Green Eagles. Final score on that one was 11-1. Game ended after 8 innings. Referee said, hey, run rule, not enough time on this, man. One thing I want to talk about, though, man, Tennessee had a lot of guys homer in this game. Billy Amick got 1. Curley got 1. Blake Burke, we got a Burke bomb. Not just one, but two for both him and Billy Amick.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. Those bats get hot, they get hot and they stay hot. It's crazy, dude.
So much fun being a Tennessee fan across the board in every single sport right now, man. Like,
It,
who would
it
have ever
really is.
thought that I would give a single shit about baseball?
Right? That's
Like-
that's how I am, Like I didn't whatever, take it or leave it.
Yeah,
But-
and now I'm like ready to watch it, and I'm gonna get over to a game this weekend while I am in Knoxville, man. I'm excited to go see what the new Lindsey Nelson Stadium looks like. And Tennessee does hit the diamond once again on Saturday. They hit the diamond at 5 p.m. at Lindsey Nelson, and on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Games this week: Kansas State comes into Lindsey Nelson on Tuesday the 5th. And you've got Southern Indiana on Wednesday the 6th, and then you start off a massive series against Illinois next weekend.
Ooh, buddy.
And that's also at Lindsey Nelson as well. So, guys, get out there, be loud for the boys. They need you on the diamond. It's going to be another special team, man. I mean, Tennessee is really, really, really clicking right now over there. 9-1 on the season, won 8 straight. 7-0 at home, 2-1 on a neutral site.
Man, conference play can't get here soon enough.
No, it really can't, man. It really can't. Well, Jordan, before we team up with our buddy Christian, I want to ask you a question right here. And this is just something I'm starting to think about. But
Sure.
if I'm thinking about it, maybe other people are or not. Tennessee, when it comes to athletics, is second to none to anybody in the country. Across the board. What school is Tennessee? Is Tennessee a football school, basketball school, or a baseball school?
Okay. Take baseball out of the equation. I'm sorry. Take them out of the equation. Set them to the side. We'll revisit that
Here in a
5,
couple of
10
years
from now. Yeah.
Well, and if Tony V goes on the run that I think he might, I think that we're all saying Tennessee is a baseball school here soon.
Right. Let's revisit that, though. I'm going to say, and maybe it's just because it's my sport of preference, but I'm old enough to remember, when Tennessee was an elite football program, went from being elite to good, then to bad. Tennessee's a football school. I'm sorry, they are, and I think a lot of it depends. Hold up though.
Okay,
a lot of it depends on what generation you're from, how old you are. You're the basketball guy. You got 4 years. Let's say 4.5 years now, younger than me. With that we'll call it a bye month. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we'll give it a bye month.
Yeah. But man, just you're younger than me. You've experienced a lot more success in basketball than you have football.
Of course.
So, you've got the 22 Alabama game. How did that make you feel?
Well, I mean, man, I've said this multiple times. There's the greatest moment of being a sports fan in my entire life. Second greatest, actually. I'm going to say winning the SEC tournament title in 22 was probably the best in being a Tennessee fan, just because if it's not for that, if it's not for Pat Summitt, I've never seen Tennessee win a championship in my life. I was 4 years old in 98, so I don't remember the championship season. There's nothing for me to remember. I'm too busy worried about what Teletubbies episode is going to be on TV and if I'm going to get a McDonald's Happy Meal or not for dinner.
Right.
Like at that point in my life. But my argument for Tennessee to be a basketball school, since Bruce Pearl arrived on campus in 2005, what sport has carried the athletic department? Not financially, but win-wise. It's been basketball.
Sure.
You've been to the Sweet 16 multiple times. You've been to the Elite Eight. You've won a conference tournament title. You've had a number one ranking in that sport. Now you have in football as well in that time frame, but the one in football only lasted for 1 week, where the basketball one was 5 weeks total during that time frame right there.
4 consecutive weeks, actually.
Yeah, 4 consecutive weeks and then 5 weeks total with the 1 week that Bruce had.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying right there. I just think that Tennessee is a basketball school. And the reason why I'm saying this is you're winning on the hardwood. You're starting to win on the gridiron again. But other than the 22 season, what have you had that has given you any hope that Tennessee's got the football ship right? Because there's not been anything else for me other than that.
The hiring of Joshua Heupel, sir.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes in on that
But
right
now,
there.
here's my thing, and this is what I'm gonna. This will be my closing argument for this.
Okay.
Basketball has went on this run starting about 05, like you said. You
Mhm.
go back to it. That was the start of the downward
Football.
spiral for football.
Yeah.
05, preseason number 2 ranking would come out. First game of the year, beat UAB 17-9 in Neyland. And just the rest of the year was very underwhelming. The best game of that year was going down to Baton Rouge and beating LSU in overtime.
In the Hurricane Katrina game too, and albeit on that.
Right. So what I'm getting at is basketball's on a tremendous run, has been for going on almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
This has happened though during one of Tennessee's worst stretches in Tennessee football history.
Well, so here's my counter argument for that right there. The 90s and the 80s for Tennessee basketball was horrible. I mean, you had Allen Houston scoring, 30 a game. But other than that, what the hell did you have at that point on the hardwood? You had nothing.
Right.
Where football, they were able to capitalize on that. Well, basketball was able to capitalize on this during this time frame in the 2000s. I agree with what you said. It goes into the age range that you're in. So people my age, I'm 30, we're going to gravitate more towards basketball.
Sure.
Where people older in the, let's say, mid 30s to 40s, if you can remember 98, you're probably going to side on that. If you can't remember 98, I think you're going to side on the basketball things. I just think that the core memories of a Tennessee fan for the past 20 years have came from basketball. And that's why I'm saying Tennessee is a basketball school. Now, like I said earlier, Tony V is going to have a very, very, very strong argument for his program here within about the next 5 years. I mean, we could be talking about a multiple time national championship winning head coach at that point. And I think we are.
Knoxville could very well become the new title town.
Well, I think that Knoxville is already college sports town USA. I don't think it's any debate on that. You've got, hell, basketball is rolling on the way to what could possibly be the first ever Final Four berth in program history. Football should make the 12-team playoff. Should. Baseball should be back in Omaha.
I'm saying it now. They will.
I don't know. I need to see them play.
Don't at me, bro. Don't at me, bro.
I'm at you right here. I need to see what happens on that one first. Baseball should be in Omaha. The Lady Vols still have never missed the NCAA tournament when it comes to basketball.
They're skating on thin ice right now, though, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is the first year they ever do. But I think they're going to get that blue blood type of love from the people who are in charge on that. But, man, all I'm going to do, our listeners and viewers, hit the comments, hit the Twitter, DMs, however you want to get it to us. Let us know what you think. We want to know. Yeah, make your case for us. Any good ones? I'll read them out here on the pod next time we record.
Yeah, I would love to hear them. Love to hear them.
So please send it over to us. Sorry, guys, got the hiccups right there. So with the hiccups coming up right there, Jordan, I think it's time that we run to break, jump in with our buddy Christian, talk a little bit about the Vols about to roll the Tide on Saturday.
I'm about to talk so much trash.
I know you are, man. Stay tuned, guys. We will be right back.
All right, guys. If you all are anything like me and you have a hard time waking up in the morning until you get that caffeine in you, come give our friends at W a try. Each energy blend that they have created comes with no calories, no sugar, no fillers, and no artificial colors. So you go online, you go buy it, it comes to your house. It comes in a little container with powder in it. Scoop it out, drop it in your shaker, add water, shake it up, and you're good to go. It's that simple. Tastes amazing, no carbonation, no added sugars in it, so you don't get that sugar crash at the end of your energy buzz. Let me tell you guys, this stuff is amazing. My favorite flavor is Beach and Peach, which is a white mango peach, and oh boy, stuff is great. Let me just tell you. Go to w.gg on your web browser and type in promo code VOLINOUT for 10% off. VAWLINOUT for 10% off.
If you're looking for the perfect Smoky Mountain vacation, Mountain Romance is your cozy romantic getaway. Starting at $129 per night, you get 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and this beautiful cabin will sleep up to 6 people. With an amazing mountain view, fire pit, pool table, and hot tub, this place has it all and is located within minutes of downtown Gatlinburg. To inquire, go to Airbnb and search for Mountain Romance or email bearslair2021@gmail.com.
All right, guys, welcome back into the program. We are joined by Christian Sykes from the Crimson Crossover podcast to help us break down this Alabama game on Saturday. Christian, how are you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, buddy, we're if we were any better, we'd need twins.
Yeah, it's hard not to be bad after what the Volunteers did last night against your biggest rival, Auburn.
Yeah, that well, not only the fact that they're our biggest rival, but there was a real scenario there if Auburn won that they win the league. So we really appreciate you helping out with that.
Yeah, well, man, we've got a massive game on Saturday now down in Tuscaloosa. So we thank you for jumping on and helping us preview this. But what can we kind of expect from Alabama in this second game coming up against the Tide this season?
That's a good question. It really just depends on the type of defensive intensity that Alabama comes out with. I think obviously you should expect scoring, lots of it. Alabama's now second in KenPom history as far as offensive efficiency is concerned, only behind the 2015 Wisconsin team that finished at 129 points or offensive efficiency points. So obviously offense is going to be the nature of the game, but I think the real question, then I think probably something that we're going to discuss, is Alabama's defense. It depends on what shows up with that. So
Yeah, no, you're right on that. I mean, if Dalton Connect's able to have 39 again, or another 30-plus game, I feel really comfortable about Tennessee's chances. But if not, it's going to be rough because it seems like nobody else can throw the rock in the ocean when you need it to, other than Dalton.
yeah, and I was looking at his numbers today. He averages 26 points per game on the road, shoots around 50% from the floor and about 45% from deep on the road. So I don't think the concern should be whether or not Connect is able to score. I think he's going to get his. I don't think we have the type of player that's going to be that's going to require the type of defense on him to prevent him from scoring. I think the big key in this game is going to be whether or not Adu can get going down low.
Man, our offense, Tennessee's offense, when it's at its best, is when we're getting production out of Adu. So if you got to stop him, you got a good chance. I think you got a good chance at getting us Saturday.
Yeah, and I think he had 15 and I think like 7 or 8 when we played the first time. So I think that's going to be your big key for Alabama, is preventing him. I think it's one of those things where a few years ago we played Ja Morant and he had like 40 something points against us, right? But the rest of his team didn't do anything. I think that's kind of how you have to approach Tennessee, where Don Connect's going to get his unless you get into foul trouble. And other than that, you have to be able to ensure that the other guys around him aren't successful. So I think that's the big key for Alabama.
Well, you're right on that. And last time the Volunteers did play the Tide back, I guess it was right around the third week of January 20th. That's what this says right here. Dalton had 25, Jonas had 19, and Gainey had 15, but nobody else got into, well, actually, no, I take that back. Santiago Vescovi also got into double figures. But other than that, you got a whole lot of nothing from everybody else. So it really shows, I mean, what is Alabama's defensive intensity going to be in this game? Are they going to be more like a Tennessee team that gets in the passing lanes, or are they going to kind of roll out with the same defensive intensity that we saw in Knoxville on January 20th? And if that's the case, I like Tennessee's chances a whole lot in this one.
Yeah, and the issue that Alabama has had, especially in recent weeks, is at times they've been a little too aggressive on the defensive end. Falling for pump fakes, like you said, getting into passing lanes, which is putting them out of position, allowing open shots. Florida was very successful with that. Kentucky was obviously, they scored 117 points. They did it well, and then at times in the Ole Miss game last night, that's what was happening at the beginning of the game when we got down 14. I think the big key for Alabama is I think everyone knows that what this Alabama team is, and it's just not very good defensively, but it doesn't have to be very good defensively. Alabama only needs 2 or 3 possessions in a row to get a stop, and their offense is good enough to you'll have 9 point lead at that point, and being able to continually apply pressure to Tennessee, whose offense is much improved from last year, but still isn't on the same level as Alabama's offense. I think that's Tennessee's big key is whether or not, because I think Alabama's going to want to run in this game, and if Tennessee can at least either prevent that, which they did in the first matchup, or be able to hit shots, then I don't see how you don't like Tennessee's chances, especially if we don't have Latrell Wrightsell.
Right. Yeah, man. That like I watched some of that game last night, and when you guys were down 14, I was like, "This is not going to last." You guys can shoot your way back into any game. It doesn't matter how big the deficit is.
Yeah, exactly. I think that in that exact point, we were down 14. We called a timeout with 5:07 in 14 Southeastern, who does like a podcast on all things Alabama or all things SEC, which includes Alabama. They put out a stat last night that I didn't even know. With 5:07 left to go in that game, Nate Oates calls a timeout. So there's 25, little less than 25 minutes left in the rest of the game. And Alabama scored 80 points in 25 minutes.
Wow, that's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can legitimately put up points in droves.
Yep. Yeah, but on the flip side, Tennessee can lock down any team in the country. Like truly, you guys did an amazing job. Tennessee did an amazing job when we went to Knoxville to prevent our offense. I think they held us to the lowest or one of the lowest point totals that we've had in the SEC this season, and with 71 points. So I if you're a Tennessee fan, you have to like your chances. One, because generally defense travels, right? And two, you arguably have the best player in the country. And if you have the best player in the country, then you got to like your chances, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and one other thing too, whenever we're kind of talking about the defense Tennessee held you guys to 71 points, which was the lowest in SEC, but then also 19% from three, which was the second lowest total of the year for Alabama up to that point.
Yeah, exactly. I will say Alabama shoots about 45% from three in Coleman Coliseum. I do expect that crowd to be absolutely electric. It's a whiteout. We have College Game Day coming to Tuscaloosa for the first time for basketball in the history of Alabama basketball. So I do expect the crowd to play a factor. Alabama's only lost one game since 2022 in Coleman Coliseum. So it's one of those things where it's definitely a factor. It's whether or not Tennessee can put enough pressure on Alabama to make the crowd nervous. If you can go into an opponent's arena, make a crowd nervous, then you have an opportunity to really come away with the win. And at times Tennessee has struggled on the road. You look at like the A&M game, and I think was it Mississippi State that you guys also lost to?
Yes, sir.
Mississippi State. Those two are. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I look at that. I'm like, okay, well, Mississippi State and A&M, while they're better defenses, they're not as good as offenses. So if Alabama can find some type of semblance of off or defense on, then it might be worrisome. But again, I think defense travels, and I like you said, I kind of like your guys' chances coming in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, so let's talk about Mark Sears for just a second as well. Whenever you guys came to Knoxville, he was the only player in double figures. He shot 7 of 13 from the field in 33 minutes and got 22 points. What's the likelihood of him kind of being able to make a run at that SEC Player of the Year? We all know it's him and Dalton, and everybody else is just watching at this point. But does he have a chance, in your opinion, to be able to catch up to Dalton Connect?
Bias, in my biased opinion, yes, but if I'm looking at it objectively, no. I think Dalton's performance last night versus Auburn pretty solidified the race, scoring 39 against the top 11 opponent. That's some pretty big stuff there, but and I think it's well deserved. I mean, the kid's incredible. He's it's one of those things where, and I've talked about it with some people before. There's times in games where, and I'm not trying to make excuses for refs, but like refs will call a game a certain way, maybe one-sided or whatever, and there are certain players that have an ability to play through that. And at times in the Tennessee game or in the game last night, some calls were going, little towards Auburn's way, and all of a sudden you just see Dalton Connect just erupt for 25 points and outscore Auburn by himself. Those types of players are guys that, like, I think Mark Sears is just a super efficient and is really good scorer, and he's going to get his points he's going to get 20 points almost every night. But I think Dalton Connect has a different level, if that makes sense, of scoring to Mark Sears. And in my opinion, if I was picking the player of the year, I'd probably pick Connect. I don't think Mark really has a chance unless, Connect just craps the bed the last 3 games of the season.
That's one thing about Dalton, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing about Dalton, though, man. When he wants to flip that switch, he flips it, and he's so like, all it takes is him to see one go through the hoop, and he's red hot. That's mentality to me.
Yeah, he's like Brandon Miller last year. It really, he just kind of wills your team to win. And I think that's why I'm like, Alabama doesn't have an answer for him, right? Like I'm not expecting Dalton Connect to be held to 10 points on Saturday. That's just an unrealistic expectation, in my opinion.
Well, that's
No
not
doubt
even his
about it.
game. I mean, I don't think he's been under double figures all year long. And I mean, what was it they said last night? Like, he's had like 10, 20-point games in the past 14. And so it's like, okay, this kid's really just balling, and he's doing the best he possibly can right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy because Mark Sears last night broke the record for Alabama for most 20-point games in a season with 17. And
Wow.
or maybe it was 18, but either way, like, that's the type of efficiency that he's doing. But I still think Dalton Connect's clearing away, I think, the player of the year again, unless something dramatically happens down the stretch or something like that. So
No doubt, man. He's played well enough to earn it. The Sears is the only one that is even in the same ballpark when it comes to that when it comes to that award. So I'm looking forward to that game Saturday, though. That's going to be a barn burner, man. It seems like that's what happens here in the last 2 or 3 years. It doesn't matter the sport when we get together, you know.
Don't remind me of last year's football or 2 years ago in football. Jesus Christ.
We're here to remind you of 52-49. So, and I've said this, I've been a Tennessee fan my entire life. That was the best game I have ever been at for anything in my entire life, and I'm not sure if anything will ever be able to pass that up.
Yeah, and this isn't me just being an Alabama fan, but like, I truly can't comprehend like the level of excitement that you guys must have had and that's not like a slight or anything. Like,
No, it was
like I truly like can't comprehend that, and like, it's just exciting to see, like, and that's why, like, for me, basketball is so big for Alabama, because in the sense of, like, we've been mediocre for the last like 20 years, right? Always on the bubble. We would always like have a really good January, be up and be in the bracket, and then fall apart in February. That's how Alabama basketball had been since I don't even know, like, the early 2000s. And to see like the type of heights that this program and NATO's have gotten us to, like, if you would have told me 5 years ago we would go to 4 straight NCAA tournaments with 3 of them potentially being top 3 seeds, like, that's just, I would have said you're full of it. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, there's no possible way that Alabama could do that. But here we are, and regardless of the results for the SEC, this season for Alabama has probably been the most successful, just because of the type of talent that we lost, the coaches that we lost, and just be able to continue to compete regardless of kind of where we're sitting as far as talent. Because I don't think there's a lot of NBA guys, at least for next year, on this roster for Alabama. So it's just been a complete type of team turnaround.
Yeah,
Well,
for
it's
sure,
been
for
fun to
sure.
watch you guys, man. I mean, you guys average almost 92 and right at 92 a game. It's fun to watch. I like watching that kind of ball.
Well, let me ask you guys this. How does it feel to have some type of offense this season relative for the past couple of years?
It's
It's a
nice.
breath of fresh air. It is a breath of fresh air. You know, Rick Barnes really changed around how he's been coaching the game for the past 30 years, and this year he's kind of just been a different Rick Barnes, and we love it. It's the most fun we've had in a long, long time being Tennessee fans, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, how does it feel having Nate Oates, man? I mean, your offense is always electric down there in Tuscaloosa.
Man, if only we could put a defense together, man. Like if we could have like a top 50 Kim Pom defense, like we would be national championship contenders, which we still technically are. I'm not saying that we're going to be. Like, I mean, obviously we're like in the like graph of like favored people or whatever, but man, I just wish, because like last year our defense was elite. At one point it was the top defense in the country. I think it finished third. And the offense wasn't bad. I mean, it was good. It was kind of like how Tennessee is. I think we were ranked 20th in offense and third in defense. And I think Tennessee's 17th in offense and third in defense right now. Um, but I just wish that like this elite type of offense wasn't, coupled with a okay defense at best,
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying right there. Well, Christian, let's get a score prediction for Saturday.
Man, do you want my unbiased score or my biased score?
Both,
Give
but
us
I
your
got a feeling
unbiased
he's going to
opinion.
be like Bama by 50.
No, I would never. Um, so I always say my gut says Tennessee's going to win this game. I think it's a terrible matchup for Alabama. I think that Tennessee kind of has the offensive ability to at least keep up with Alabama, but they have the defensive ability to really frustrate the guards, which make Alabama go. So my unbiased opinion is probably going to be Tennessee 82, Alabama 78. My biased opinion says Alabama's going to win, and that's my heart saying Alabama's going to win. And if we win, the score is going to be, I don't know, Alabama 89, Tennessee 86.
I'd say that's fair, man. I mean, it's going to be a barn burner either way, buddy. The over will be safe, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Well, they haven't released it yet. I was just looking for it.
one of my buddies said that if you took $100 at the beginning of the season and bet it on Alabama's overs, how much money would you make? And I need to go and look because you'd probably be pretty rich right now.
Be
I'd say
pooing and
so.
cotton, buddy.
Right, right. Well, Christian, we have a game we like to play with every single guest we have on the show before they run. It's called Start Bench Cut. Are you familiar with it?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, cool. I only asked because we had somebody one time who didn't know, and he was only giving me one answer. I'm like, dude, no, I need like all three of them ranked.
Yeah.
So we do that. So this first one is just for you. Who is Alabama's biggest rival in all sports? Start bench cut, and Auburn's not in this one, so don't want you to have to worry about that. Start bench cut, Tennessee, LSU, and let's toss in Georgia.
Oh, cuts Georgia easily. Um, Start is obviously Tennessee. Third Saturday in October, you can't beat it. That rivalry is historic. I know in football it kind of lost its appeal over the last, X amount of years just because of how lopsided it was. But definitely start Tennessee and then bench LSU. I think LSU and Alabama's basketball rivalry was really good when Will Wade was here. But I think it's kind of lost its luster with McMahon or I forget it.
McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon. I wish you would have said Arkansas.
Toss in Arkansas then. Rank it for us that way.
Oh, well, Arkansas. So Alabama basketball and Arkansas basketball rivalry is insane. It's absolutely crazy. So just because of that, I'd probably put that over LSU. So I'd probably bench Arkansas just because the Arkansas Alabama basketball rivalry is just crazy. So that would be my 3.
I understand
like
that. So next one, Jordan, you can jump in on this as well. We are roughly about 2 weeks away from Nashville in the SEC tournament. Start bench cut. Who's going to win the tournament? Tennessee, Alabama, or South Carolina?
Ooh, you take this one first, Christian. You're the guest, sir.
Cut South Carolina, bench Alabama, start Tennessee.
Carbon copy. I like it.
Yeah,
I think South Carolina is very sneaky.
They are. I don't know. At times they have a tendency to fade away. And I don't know if they have the offensive talent to be able to keep up with the big dogs. And I know that they beat Tennessee and I know that they beat Kentucky, but I don't know. Maybe my answer will change after this week when Tennessee plays South Carolina at South Carolina. So
there's a very specific way South Carolina wins games, and if they can muck it up and make it slow, make you and beat and bang with you, and frustrate you, they frustrate you. That's how they beat. That's how they beat good teams.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go and look at the Alabama game where it was like 74-47, like that's why I'm not really high on South Carolina because if you can get them out, like you said, if you can get them out of their game, then it might be like bad as far as scoring is concerned.
Yeah, I think that's a matchup nightmare for Tennessee. Like you said, Tennessee's a matchup nightmare for Alabama. South Carolina is our matchup nightmare. We can't figure out how to play them. So I'm hoping for different results on Tuesday, but you never know. That's why you play the game. And then here's the last one. I'm going to recycle an old one we did with the Auburn guys last week. But start bench cut, best way to eat barbecue, because Alabama has an interesting twist on barbecue. Memphis dry rub, Alabama white, or Carolina gold.
I'm from the Carolinas, so I got to do Carolina Gold start. And then I really like Memphis dry rub, so I think I'm going to bench the dry rub, and then Alabama white's going to be cut. That's my opinion. I know that's hot take coming from an Alabama fan, but just because I went to Bama doesn't mean I like my barbecue Alabama way.
Jordan, which way you got it, man?
Buddy, I'm going to copy him on that. Like I like Carolina Gold. It's good stuff. I like it. Bench Memphis dry rub. Cut the Alabama white, man. I've never had it though, so like I can't give an honest opinion on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I've got an opinion on it, and I think it's gross. Mayonnaise does not belong on barbecue to begin with. Start Memphis, lived out there for a while, love the city, love the barbecue. Can't touch it anywhere in America. Bench Carolina Gold and Alabama White's going to be the cut 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. It's not even close.
I also hate mayonnaise, so that
there you go. Me too.
Yeah.
So, Christian, where can our listeners and viewers find you at on the social medias, and what have you kind of been working on lately?
Yeah, so like you said, we're part of Crimson Crossover, which is part of the Field of 68 Media Network. We do podcasts once a week on Crimson. It's like Crimson X over, like the number X on Twitter. What we're working on right now is I'm in the car because going down to Tuscaloosa. We're filming live from Coleman Coliseum in the basketball arena tomorrow. And then we're also we got media credentials for College Game Day. We're going to do behind the scenes coverage of that. And then normally we do like post game spaces on Twitter, just with fans, be able to let them get their opinions out, different things like that. So it's kind of what we're working on. And we generally do our podcasts on Tuesdays is when they come out. So you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you get your social media content.
Okay. Well, everybody, make sure you like, rate, and subscribe on the Crimson Crossover. And we're going to end the show as we always do, Christian. You're welcome to join in with your own version, but go Vols.
Go Vols.
Roll Tide.
This episode of the Vol and Out podcast has been brought to you by our friends at Peace of Mind Enterprises. From construction, home remodel, down to general handyman services, Peace of Mind has you covered.
All technicians are licensed and insured, servicing East Tennessee with 30-plus years of experience. Call 865-202-7167 for a free estimate, because nothing beats having peace of mind.